Healthcare organizations generate piles of documents and forms in different formats, making it difficult to achieve operational excellence and streamline business processes. Our webinar today will offer management and engineering perspectives on AI-powered document processing to help you explore available options. Now, I'd like to introduce you to our speakers today. Iskander Sitkov, Principal AI ML Solutions Architect at Provectus, and Stepan Pushkarev, CTO of Provectus. Gentlemen, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. A quick overview of Provectus. We're obsessed with about generating value from data through artificial intelligence and deploying it to the real world. We work on hardest problems in the world, like simulating turbulence in supernova explosion using deep learning models, or predicting binding sites for protein-peptide interactions, as well as on applied AI solutions, for example, computer vision-based disease screening or intelligent document processing for healthcare and insurance industries. Quick facts: we're headquartered in Silicon Valley, have over 500 employees worldwide, and serve clients ranging from cutting-edge startups to large Fortune 500 enterprises. Some of our clients are listed here. We're comfortable working with big enterprises and driving multi-million transformational projects with artificial intelligence, as well as helping startups, partnering with them from early stages through all of the funding rounds and successful acquisitions and IPOs. I'm proud to notice a wide range of clients from healthcare and life science industries. I'm giving the word to Iskandar. He's going to cover document processing 101 in the context of a healthcare use cases.
Okay, so document processing solutions and the healthcare are long-running couples. So you probably know all of those use cases. So it's medical records, insurance medical claims, lab reports, transfer, etc. Right? So all of them are shared the same administrative burden and overhead. And moreover, all of them share the same processing framework of documents. So as we see, the main benefits of introducing IDP solution for your organization is to reduce the operational speed, do the cost reduction. In our practice, we see 2 to 8 times in cost reduction compared to fully manual processes, and 30% plus reduction compared to old legacy OCR solutions. So important note here, we're not going to discuss in detail the KPIs and business ROIs of each of particular business use case. Also, we can help you to discover those use cases. We assume that you're already well aware of your business use case and you have particular projects in your 2021 roadmap. In that sense, that webinar is really based on action and execution rather than outlining the strategies. Okay. Yeah, let's move to the document processing itself. Before we do that, we actually take a look at a quick demo of one of the parts of document processing solution, which is user interface / human in the loop interface. So purpose of this part of the system is to access and review the processed documents in detail. As you can see, you had list of the documents in a slide before. So it has all of the statuses, all of the names of the documents, where to whom this document were assigned to, etc. You can click through each of the document, edit the information if needed, or confirm that those extraction was correct. Later on, all of this labeled information will be looped back into the system for the model training, but we will cover it later on. So we're moving to the next slide. Yeah. So first part of the document processing framework is the computer vision. So it's usually called OCR, but it's really outdated term, which stands for optical character recognition. Computer vision is much more broader term, and it includes OCR as one of its components. So general goal of this part of the system is to identify main entities on the document and segment them. Those main entities will be paragraphs, forms, tables, etc. And after identifying them, you have to extract the text out of them. So you will form the semi-structured data out of the document. Next step is the data extraction. So you had the semi-structured data out of computer vision step, and now we have to solve the context search problem. So we are trying to extract knowledge from semi-structured data from the previous step and create like structured answer out of them. For example, if you have like paragraphs of text which is mentioning some of the diagnosis of the client, so we're interested on diagnosis itself, who was the doctor, what is the name of the patient, what is the address, etc., all of the necessary information. So bottleneck here is usually unstructured text, which is like large plain documents. And the solution here will be like deep learning model, for example, like BERT, which is a Google answer to this problem. So it's good for finding this question answer pairs. So for example, you have a context and you ask the system to find the answer to that, and it will give you answer in a structured form. Okay, next step is the evaluation. So evaluation step is somehow missed in a lot of use cases, which is really bad. So machines are really good in reducing the processing time and of repeatable operations, right? But the humans are great in this complex tasks like context search. So so the solution here will be to building this hybrid system. Plus, we should always have verification mechanism, especially in highly regulated areas like healthcare. So by hybrid approach and this verification mechanism, I mean, all of the data that was came out of the model with low confidence should be streamlined to the human experts to verify it and make the right conclusions. Also, not only low confidence score should be passed to that, but also sample of successfully extracted information should be also forwarded to human expert. In that case, you're just closing the loop of verification of how your system is working. So it's kind of monitoring. So next step is the storage. Storage is another topic which is often missed in the document processing solutions. Moreover, the requirements for storage in the healthcare industry a little bit different, and it's actually different in a good way. Yes, you have the same object storages, relational databases, etc. But alongside with that, you have to blend the ontology specification into the mix. So what is ontology specification is just a standard describing the data formats. What it essentially means, we should annotate all of the data which is flowing inside our system into specific format. So later on, this data can be queryable and discoverable by other parts of the system. So think of it as like a knowledge graph. So, and we actually have this specification already in the healthcare industry, this format called FHIR. You probably know all know about that. Okay, next part is the automation. So automation is just, it is what it is, right? It's a glue of all the pieces that we mentioned before to build the final product. So automation encapsulates data capture, entire model lifecycle, which is labeling, retraining, evaluation, monitoring, human in the loop, aka human experts, integration, and system monitoring. Okay, and as far as for takeaways, so as you can see, document processing solution is more than just OCR, right? To resolve the document processing, you have to take care of numerous things like data ingestion, data capture, pre-processing, OCR, NLP task, evaluation, further integration, etc. Yeah, okay. I think we are now ready to move to next section of our webinar, which is solution map. Right now, we know what is document processing, right? Let's see what the solution landscape look like. So as you can tell, documents are everywhere, right? For healthcare, it's again clinical records, lab reports, medical charts, etc. For finance, it's claims. For HR, it's CVs, etc. So the documents are everywhere, but solutions for documents also everywhere. So you might not know, but there are actually more than 200 document processing solution vendors out in the market at this moment right now. So as you can imagine, it's super easy to get lost of all of this variety of offerings. So one of the good ways to start is to refer to something like Gartner quadrants or Forrester waves, right? They're really good in giving the like overview and a glance on the market. But actually in 90% of the use cases, you have to double click on a specific area of your use case, as the leaders of those reports might not necessarily be the best solution for your use case. So let's dive one step deeper and review the segments of the document processing solutions market landscape. So first one are the cloud vendors, right? You know all of them. They're technological giants, so they provide general purpose components for document processing. So it's for AWS, for example, they have text track and comprehend solutions. For Google, they have Document AI. Azure has Form Recognizer. So working with these types of solution has their own pros and cons. As for advantages, we have cloud infrastructure and integration, because cloud vendors are trying to build this ecosystem within their cloud. So they have long lifespan and support, of course, constant development, because they have like huge teams to back it up. As far as the cons goes, so we have these solutions from cloud vendors are general purpose. So which means you still have to do all of the pipe and integration by yourself, and you have to build on top of them specific extractors for your use case. Okay. Next segment is the startups. So it is a much younger group of up-and-coming vendors who are building their solutions on top of AI native platform. Generally, startups can handle documents that are more complex and has greater variation. But okay, as far as pros and cons, for pros, startup has much more modern tech. They have constant development. They are more focused on a specific niche applications. Okay, support. Usually startups are good with support, because support is one of the highest priorities for these companies, because they need to gain customer loyalty because they are new to the market. For the cons, because the document processing is highly competitive market, only few startups can survive this competition, especially with the technological giants. It is sometimes challenging to customize, might not align with your cloud strategy. And again, support also might be a con, because new startup might struggle with the support structure of the organization. Okay, next one is the conglomerate of other parts of the solution. So it is legacy vendors, which are typically building their document processing solutions on top of legacy platform. It is niche vendors who is focusing on a limited type of document use cases. And the vendors who is restructuring your document workflow by introducing new standards and templates. But this type of engagement is really hard, especially in healthcare, because you have to restructure your entire organization workflows. So as far as pros and cons goes, so for the pros, you have wide variety of integration, you have niche use cases, you have large portfolio of clients. For the disadvantages, they sometimes have outdated technologies and less performant. And again, as for the sometimes they require to restructure your whole entire workflow. So, and the last part of the segments, last segment is the integrators. So integrators help you to glue up all of these pieces of document processing solution together. So they might offer IDP solution as part of their portfolio, or they might integrate the third-party solution within your system. And okay, I will give a mic to Stefan.
Yeah, thanks, Iskandar. As we'll learn, there are more than 200 different vendors offering, from the first glance, similar capabilities, at least based on the vendors' marketing websites. So let's find out how you can evaluate their offerings and choose the right document processing solution for your healthcare use case and organization. Basically, how would you move from high-level Gartner-style comparison to a real metrics-based evaluation that compares apples to apples? How would you make decision between build versus buy versus customize when you buy components and then integrate and customize it for your use case? As a reminder, we have cloud vendors, we have independent startups, and we have niche and legacy vendors, as well as system integrators. Introducing Provectus evaluation methodology, an unbiased benchmarking tool for choosing the right intelligent document processing solution for your business. Some vendors demonstrate better quality when processing elaborate reports. Others do really well with handwritten notes and in clinical records. We need to consider all of these factors, and we at Provectus have developed a methodology to make it easier. It's a benchmarking tool to make it easier to choose the best option. Steps are pretty simple to understand. First you define data set, then metrics, define metrics, you evaluate, you rank, and pick and repeat. Any metrics should be based on a specific data set. It is extremely important not only to know what metrics to use, but also the data they are computed on. Exploratory data analysis is the must. So we always start with data and not from vendors or machine learning models. Knowing types of the documents, ratio between handwritten and printed texts, tables, forms and paragraphs, images, noise levels, and also assessing a long tail of custom edge cases is crucial. So based on EDA, we generate evaluation data set, which should be a representative sample of data, so we can make fair assumption on target performance metrics. Once you have evaluation data set, we pick metrics to measure or what will be used for our final composite index. Exact list of metrics like F1 score, robustness, key value extraction is usually based on a specific business use case you would like to optimize through artificial intelligence. Let's double click on a composite index we used for solution evaluation. We compose the index out of the numerous indexes. For example, text index characterize how solution extracts metadata from unstructured texts, paragraphs, and notes. Handwritten index, how good we can extract handwritten text. Form index, how good the solution is at recognizing key value pairs. And the price index may seem straightforward, but it has multiple components: variable price per document, maintenance cost, and customization and integration costs. Let's dive one level deeper into sub-indexes. Text index is responsible for qualifying how well solution fixes grammar errors, deals with noise characters, and finally maps entities to predefined ontology. In this case, you see the restore and healthy, how's working under the hood. And also, some providers may deal better with one language versus another, and it is important to evaluate the rest of the metrics in the context of yet another dimension of that covers the language support. Another interesting index is we call it robustness. What is essentially doing is measuring how good the solution is at handling different edge case situations, like large spaces between key value pairs or noise in the document, which might be caused by poor scan or age of the document or other factors. It usually impacts the cost of handling a long tail distribution of the documents. Obviously, if IDP solution is not robust enough, it puts pressure on your total cost of business process, and that includes human experts in the loop. Now it's a good time to cover a case study when we evaluated the solution for one of our clients. As we mentioned, the main driver for any document processing solution is reducing the cost per document. This is probably a North Star metric for any business decision maker. The target TCO for the end-to-end solution for that customer was from 20 to 30 cents per document for kind of simple use cases, and 50 cents for more complex use cases. That customer has already used as one of the vendors from the market. And only by running the benchmarking tool based on the sample data set from the customer, we were able to identify that the most expensive solution delivered the worst result. That was a aha moment for us and for the customer. And the second to the best result was demonstrated by the vendor with the second to cheapest solution. So even by choosing the right engine from the beginning, we have achieved the boost and the reduction in the cost we saved almost 10 cents per document from the beginning. And of course, further optimizations, further improvements and customizations has reduced that cost even further. And based on this analysis and any other many other research and evaluations that we've done, there is a general guideline that we would like to share, the general results that we would like to share about buy versus customize versus build. So what do we mean by that? So if you buy an out of the box solution from third-party provider, and it usually includes it's usually positioned as the ready to go solution. So another option, you can use the cloud APIs, OCR APIs, and also extraction APIs that provide you specific extractors for your use case. For instance, invoice parsing, medical claims parsing, etc., etc. And the third option is to use the custom extractors built by yourself or built by your partner, so you can further reduce the cost of the cost per document. So, and as we see, the customization option provides an ROI versus the building option has almost 8 months ROI comparing to customization option. So it's it has almost instant ROI comparing to buying option. So what we usually recommend is to start with the customization, basically buying APIs from cloud vendors, and obviously evaluating those APIs before choosing the right vendor. And then once you reach the decent amount of documents to be processed per month, it's kind of hundreds of thousands of documents per month. It's actually it's based on the specific. I believe it's this particular chart is based on the 100,000 of documents to be processed per month. So at some point, if it becomes crucial for you, you can customize it further by introducing the in-house machine learning models that are also available. Actually, most of them are open source. So to reduce your costs even further, at this scale, it's not quite visible. But actually, if you will look at the 24 months horizon, the gap between build and customize becomes larger. So that's That's always the question of the, obviously the question of the skill set you have, the in-house skill set, and the thing you would like to kind of delegate to the vendors. But that's a good, those are good data points, at least to get started and on a high level, so you can choose your strategy. A few takeaways to be mentioned. First of all, ecosystem matters, and having just a siloed intelligent document solution is just one thing, but having a data integration, specific industry connectors, data pipelines, OCR, NLP, security, storage, and the whole web workflow with the human in the loop is a key. So choose the solution that is nicely pluggable into all of those aspects. Use unbiased benchmarking framework, because just playing with the uploading some random files into the going through the demo of any vendor is quite limited. So you're choosing the solution that is supposed to save you like millions of dollars, even like millions of dollars monthly. So investing into the benchmarking in evaluation is a key here. And also there is no silver bullet. You get it. So each use case, each solution, each use case requires different solutions, and each use case requires different vendors, and different engines, OCR engines, NLP engines are being optimized and being trained on a specific use cases, and that might not be your use case. Work with Provectus to reduce your document processing costs. So what we see from our data points, it's from 2 to 8x cost reduction comparing to manual workflows, 30% reduction comparing to legacy OCR solutions, and we can push even the limits of the modern cloud solutions. So speak to us to know how and to know more. And the last piece of our webinar, some practical call to action and how to get started. And we have designed this program to help you choose the best vendor and solution for your document processing use case. Here, this is how it works. You provide a business use case and an access to your data set, as well as executive sponsorship to support the engagement. We explore your data set and run it through the Provectus benchmarking framework against different OCR IDP vendors. As a result, we will determine the most cost-efficient solution with the highest quality output for your specific healthcare use case. This offering is available to a limited number of customers and is fully funded engagement. Apply now so we can help you learn more about the program and get you qualified. The application link is available, is in the downloadable handout slides to this webinar, and we will also it will be also sent to you in the follow-up email after this webinar. Thank you so much. We're happy to take questions.
Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. So we do have some questions, and I'm just going to throw them out to both of you. I'm not sure who can answer which. So here's the first question. Why should I opt for building a custom solution versus buying a ready-made one?
Yeah, that's a great question. As I mentioned, it's always very specific to the maturity of your organization and the number of documents and the potential ROI of any solution that you're going to build or buy. for some use case, for some companies, for some use cases, we do recommend to start with even buying a solution. In some cases, it's better to customize buying an API. For instance, if you're not in the cloud, it's hard for you to buy. If you have security and compliance restrictions, it's hard to customize because there are dependencies of moving to the cloud. So then you have just one option to go and buy it, to kick it off quickly. We do have our own custom built extractors based on the machine learning models that could be used as an accelerators to build it in-house, build it jointly with you. But it's always a question of the upfront investment and the ROI, as I mentioned. So usually, just to get started quickly, get used to it. Time to market matters in most of the cases. So it's great to start from buying and then see if you get traction and you want to customize and optimize it even further. That's we call it stepped approach.
Okay. Next question. What other criteria should I consider when choosing a document processing solution?
Good question. Iskandar, would you like to cover it? Yeah, so actually, Stepan already mentioned a number of specific metrics like Robustness index that is on a screen right now, and etc. Right? I can give you an example that we had like recently. So we had a ask from the client from Europe. The language for documents was German, and the like 80% of the documents are handwritten. So therefore, specific metrics for this specific use case is going to be how well the solution are able to recognize German handwritten text, right? And draw the conclusions out of that, extract the information out of that. So here you go, this specific metrics. Here you go, this specific metric. And again, you should always consider the general TCO, because OCR or computer vision or those extraction is just one part of the system. As we mentioned, you still have to do integration part, you have to do human in the loop part, you have to do storage, etc. All of these things should be considered and calculated within the total cost of ownership at the end of the day for you. And yeah, and again, I can turn back to the previous question, which was buy versus build. Actually, buying it's a little bit of a myth. You cannot buy ready to go solution, right? You still have to customize something. So customization is unavoidable, basically. Only if you have like super specific use case, which is great fit for you. Yeah, hopefully it makes sense.
Yeah,
okay. One size does not fit all.
Yeah, you have to customize, not to customize, integrate. Even the solution that you're buying. So that's exactly. And often this is the highest investment, the biggest investment that you're gonna make into that. And also adding to the criterias question, as I mentioned, start with data. We start with data, knowing your data and knowing your use case, because just extracting information for information does not make sense. Do you have a search use case? Are you gonna just search through these documents? That will require one level, the threshold for the metrics. Obviously, search use case may not require the highest quality metrics for extraction. So you can save money on expensive, very comprehensive IDP solution by choosing less comprehensive but 10x cheaper solution. That's also the case. if you have a very sensitive use case when you need, when you really need like 99%, there is no 99%, like 95% of quality, because it's a part of some payment process, for instance. Yeah. So then you probably need to look for other metrics, and that's always a trade-off between the use case, quality metrics, and the price.
Okay. Next question: how do you handle sensitive information for model training?
Yeah, great question, Iskandar.
Okay, yeah. So how do you handle sensitive information during model training? So to answer this question, so model training is just one of the part, as we mentioned 10 times already. So so your entire ecosystem with the model itself should be sealed within the boundaries of your private cloud. So basically, when you're building your solution, especially for the healthcare, where you have like sensitive PI information, so basically you're building and deploying all of your solution within the VPCs or like private clouds. So your data never leaves the data centers or boundaries of your private cloud. So as far as the model training also happening within the private cloud, storage of the information is happening there, etc. All of the accesses for expert or human in the loop also happening through this authentication mechanism. So basically, yeah, everything is sealed, right?
Yeah, that's important to understand. So it's like when you buy, you have to make sure that you're buying something that could be deployed in your cloud. It's not a SaaS. It's not the nothing should be leaked there. That's I believe that's obvious, and kind of and most of the healthcare life science vendors do the work this way. But anyway, yep, and the training. And if data is yours, data is stored in your VPC in the cloud. Obviously, all the security best practices related to HIPAA compliance, SOC 2, high trust, encryptions, and others followed. That's you're good to go.
Okay. All right, we have a specific question here. We want to process medical charts for extracting patient data. How can we get started, and what else should we consider?
Yeah, that's a good one. Very practical question. So medical charts, to begin with, medical charts are one of the most unstructured data that we have. So because it may have just some clinical notes, it may have some forms and text, it may have images, and I believe first of all, currently there is no off-the-shelf solution. So you cannot just go and buy. You need to dive into this problem a bit deeper than just like looking at the marketplace. As we mentioned, start with the exploring your data set. What do you have in the sense of the data science? So we usually start from that to see what's the distribution of your data set. Knowing your use case is the second thing. So just processing medical charts for extracting something from medical charts, it's a nice academic task. In the real world, you optimize something. You either optimize, for instance, your claims processing, or you optimize your invoice reconciliation process. or you you would like to have a search capabilities in your case. So clearly defining set of use cases will help you to choose to start evaluating different solutions on the market. And as we mentioned, just in the first step for the medical charts and other use cases, invest in some time. It's a very quick exercise. It's not it wouldn't take more than 1 week. Explore data set, run through the benchmarking tool. In our case, we have automated this process. It's just like runs against multiple vendors and computes all the necessary metrics. And then at least you will have a leaderboard. At least you will have a leaderboard, and then you will be deciding what components to customize, what components to move to the next phase. So basically, you're gonna be planning your adoption roadmap for this solution. And obviously, when you plan it, you start with the low-hanging fruit and the most the simplest use case that will gonna bring you the highest impact to the business, and that's kind of another aspect of this. But basically, I would say in a modern state of the cloud technologies, you don't need to have you don't need to start to build machine learning models specifically for that. So you already have all the APIs ready, at least to start evaluation and build an MVP.
Okay, thank you. I'll make this the last question. How long does it take to set up a solution?
Oh, so since we have accelerators, we can speak from our experience. We have accelerators. We have reference architecture, which is quickly deployable to different clouds. As I mentioned, the evaluation phase usually takes from 1 to 2 weeks. Usually, receiving access to data takes more, and the paperwork takes more. Then the first use case is usually MVP for the first use case can be done within like 4 weeks in that sense, and the rest depends on the adoption roadmap, as I mentioned. Usually, anyway, any business solution that optimizes business processes impacts the business workflow, and onboarding users, adjusting this business workflow takes more time than deploying, evaluating, or even building a solution. This is what we have. So and this is a good sign, because you don't need to invest into R&D. We have already invested. Other engineers has already done R&D. Now it's time to integrate and get benefits from.
Okay. All right, we will wrap up from there. Thank you again, Iskander and Stepan, for that great presentation. I'd just like to remind our audience to complete the survey that will appear on your screen as the webinar ends today. And thank you again to our speakers, our sponsor, and Provectus, and for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.